All right, let's talk about something really cool today. We're going to dive into an open source project called Claude Concave, and it's all about putting creators and their communities back in the driver's seat. So if you've ever felt like you're just, renting space on the big social platforms, this is for you.
All right, real quick, gotta do the disclaimer dance. This is our own take on the project. It's definitely not financial advice, and you should always do your own research. We've got all the official links for you down in the description.
And one more really important thing to keep in mind, this project is brand spanking new. I mean, the code literally started hitting GitHub yesterday. So what you're getting here is a super early, behind-the-scenes peek at the core ideas as they're just starting to take shape.
So let me just kick things off with a question. Have you ever wished you could build your own private version of Twitch? A space that's entirely yours, running on your own rules for your specific community? Well, that is exactly what Claude Concave is for. It's a free, open-source toolkit that gives you all the building blocks to create your own token-gated live streaming platform. And token-gated just means you can set up an exclusive space where only members of your community, the people holding your specific token, are allowed in. The project's own plan sums it up perfectly. They say, think Twitch, but the only currency is conviction. Now, don't worry, we'll get into what conviction means in just a bit, but the key idea here, the really important part, is that the entire system is open source. That means anyone can take the code and create their very own version of this thing. So that brings us to a pretty big question, right? Why would you even want to build your own platform in the first place? I mean, why not just use the big ones that are already out there? Let's break down the why behind it all. Well, it all comes down to one word: control. On the big platforms, you're essentially just renting space. They set the rules, they own all the data, and they can switch up the algorithm or your monetization literally overnight. With Claude Concave, the creator and their community, you guys are the owners. You make the rules, you control the entire experience, and your data stays private. And this whole project is built on a really clear set of design principles they call CROPS. It stands for censorship resistant, so no single company can just shut you down. Reusable and forkable, which means anyone can take it and adapt it for their own needs. Open source, so all the code is totally transparent. Private, with 0 tracking pixels. And secure, using modern Web3 authentication. So how does this all work under the hood? Let's break down the tech with a super simple analogy. Think of it like a set of Lego blocks. Each block has a very specific job, and they all just click together to build your streaming platform. And I promise, you do not need to be a tech genius to get this. Here are the 4 main Lego blocks. First, you've got the website. This is the part your community actually sees and clicks on. Second, there's the brain. That's a server that handles all the back and forth communication, like chat messages. Third is the memory, a database that remembers everything, like your chat history. And finally, the camera crew. This is the media server that handles the actual video stream. See, each piece has a nice, simple job. Okay, now let's talk about the user experience. We mentioned before that the only currency here is conviction. So what on earth is it, and how does it create this unique little community economy? Conviction, or CV for short, is a special currency that only exists inside this community. And here's the really cool part: you don't buy it with real money. You earn it just by being a token holder. So think of it less like cash and more like participation points that you get for being a true fan, which you can then spend to interact during a live stream. Here is a perfect concrete example. To send just one single message in the chat during a live stream, it costs exactly 1 conviction point. This super simple cost adds real value to every single message. It really encourages people to be thoughtful instead of just spamming. And this system opens up a ton of possibilities. You can spend your conviction in all kinds of different ways. You can send a chat message, you can vote in a poll to actually influence the stream, or you could even do something wild like pool your CV with other people to summon an AI agent right onto the broadcast. It turns watching from a passive thing into an active, collaborative game. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Why does a project like this really matter? The bigger picture here is about way more than just building one cool website for one community. And this right here is probably the most important takeaway. Claude Concave isn't a final product. It's a recipe. It's a blueprint. Because it's open source and forkable, its real power is that anyone can take this recipe and create their own version, totally tailored to their community with their own rules. So let's just recap the key points. This whole approach leads to platforms that are truly creator-owned and community-controlled. It's built on fully open-source technology with no reliance on some company's proprietary black box software. This really represents a fundamental shift in who holds the power online. And that brings us to the end. This whole project is about enabling brand new possibilities. It's about handing the tools directly to creators and their communities, which leaves us with one final and I think really exciting question to think about. What kind of community would you build? Let's get into it and see how it all works.